Tell me if this sounds familiar. You wake up, you check your phone, go to work, you're checking it constantly throughout the day, scrolling. You come home, you shower, you eat, you watch TV, or you watch TikTok until you go to bed. You're trapped, plain and simple. You know you want to achieve great things, but you're stuck in an endless cycle of helpless distraction and procrastination. You don't think you have time, but in reality, you're spending 3 to 6 hours a day distracting yourself with useless apps and drama. In this video, I'll show you my exact 5-step guide that I used to cure my phone addiction and reduce my screen time by over 75%. And be sure to stick around to the end where I show you exactly what I did to make sure I lock this in and never go back to infinite scrolling again. Before we even get into the 5-step plan, you need to determine your why. And it sounds cliche and you hear it all the time, but I like to think of my why as an anchor, and I'm a ship, and my goal is to catch as many fish as possible. And I'm in the perfect spot. When storms come, if you don't have an anchor or your why, you will get blown off course. Your why in this instance may be to regain your time. My why has always been my mom and my future wife and children, and that why influences every single decision I make. You have your why. What do you do now? That leads us into step one. And step one is to set a clear goal. And research shows that setting clear and measurable goals can increase your likelihood of achieving those goals by up to 40%. That means something that takes you literally 5 minutes can increase your likelihood by 40%. Sign me up. My goals for this were to have screen time under an hour, and this isn't measurable, but I wanted to lower my baseline level of dopamine to get more enjoyment out of real life. So grab a pen and paper and write down whatever it is that you want to accomplish with this plan. I'll wait. Now, setting goals is useless unless you take action. So that leads us into our first of 3 steps that you can do to your phone to make it completely undesirable in the first place. Now, best-selling author and director of Stanford Addiction Medicine, Anna Limk, I think is how you say her name, says in her book Dopamine Nation, one of the biggest risk factors of getting addicted to a certain drug is easy access to that drug. With easy access to that drug, you're more likely to try it, and in trying it, you're more likely to get addicted to it. Now, this is talking about drugs, but it is very transferable, and I feel like it is with most addiction. The easiest way to not do something is to not have access to it. How do we make this actionable for you? So that leads us into step 2 of completely stripping away your phone's appeal, and that is deleting all useless social media and apps. And for me, those apps were stuff like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I was spending 3 to 6 hours every single day on those apps. And I thought I had to have them for the longest time, whether it was to distract myself when I was bored or to have funny videos to show my friends. But I realized that this addiction was the main thing keeping me from taking steps towards my goals. And I asked myself a question, and I want you to ask yourself the same one. And that was, do you want to be known as the never follow through guy or the funny video guy? I didn't. I wanted to be known as the legend who everybody in your hometown talks about, when you can work from anywhere in the world doing whatever you want for however long you want and retiring my parents. And let me be very clear, I'm nowhere even close to retiring my parents, but unplugging from the world has allowed me to take steps in the right direction. Taking this a step further and leading into step 2 of making your phone completely undesirable is turning on grayscale. And this is simple. You might hear guys like Alex Hormozy talk about it. According to a study done by Alex J. Holt and F. Richard Ferraro, turning on grayscale on over 100 grad students' phones reduced daily screen time by an average of 39.7 minutes. On an iPhone, you do this by going into your settings, opening accessibility, then display and color filters, and turning on grayscale. I don't know how to do it on an Android, but I'll link a video in the description. But deleting social media and turning on grayscale is completely useless unless your phone is constantly blowing up. That problem is solved by step 4, which is turning off all notifications and turning on do not disturb. And when I say all notifications, I mean all notifications. The only notifications I had throughout this process were texts from people I have on emergency bypass, so like my mom or my girlfriend or my sister. Since we deleted all of your social media apps earlier, there shouldn't be too many notifications left, but things like email or maybe you check the news, turn those off and have a set time in the day where you do that. I didn't find a study for this point because I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. The more notifications you get, the more likely you are to pick up your phone more often, and the more often you pick up your phone, the more likely you are to getting sucked into endless scrolling. So far, we've determined your why, we've set a clear goal, We've deleted all useless social media and apps. We've turned grayscale on in your phone. We've silenced notifications and turned on do not disturb. However, it doesn't matter if you've done literally everything up to this point. It's useless if you don't have something to do in the meantime. You will simply re-download the apps, turn on notifications, and go back to endless scrolling. So what do we do in the meantime? That brings us to step 5, which is work on a project. My project was this video for you guys, but maybe you don't want to make a YouTube video. Maybe your project could be building a website or writing a short story. Whatever skill it is that you've been wanting to learn, use ChatGPT to think of project ideas, pick one, stick with it, build it, and only research when you get stuck. Now, this is work, but what do we do to relax? What I did, and I encourage you to do, is I find stuff in real life that I really enjoy and that gives me energy. So for me, that is disc golf or fishing or taking naps or stretching or showering, anything like that, going on a walk. All of that gives me energy. Whatever it is for you that you want to do to relax, I encourage you to have it meet 2 criteria. 1, you're present. You're not brainlessly scrolling, unaware of what's going on. Number 2, it has to give you energy. If it doesn't give you energy, then it's not active recovery. It's not relaxation. Now, if you are serious about killing your phone addiction and never going back, I encourage you to do this last bonus step. I did this with my sister, and I really think that it locked into place me not going back to my phone constantly, because that's what I was doing before. And this is make a written agreement that says if you don't do this certain thing by this time, you have to do this punishment or give them this reward. My agreement with my sister said something along the lines of, I'm really trying to lock the F in and build my future. I'm going to start a YouTube channel posting various things about self-improvement. I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week with the goal of gaining 20 pounds in 100 days. If I don't text you by 8 p.m. every single night saying what I've done to make progress towards my goals, then I owe you $20. Can you hold me accountable? And day 1 went great. Text her, $750, got all my stuff done. Day 2, I failed. Of course. Failure's a good thing though. You learn from it. And it hurt. She flaunted the $20 in my face, and I told myself I was not going to do that again. But day 3, I did my work, I got all my stuff done, and I just forgot to text her. That one hurt even more. And since then, I haven't missed a day. So, your action plan. First, you need to figure out your why. And then step 1, setting a clear, measurable goal. Step 2, deleting all useless social media and apps. Step 3, turn on grayscale on your phone. Step 4, silence notifications and turn on do not disturb. Step 5, do something in the meantime, build a project to work towards your goals. Bonus step, make a written agreement with somebody that says if you don't do this thing by this time every day, you have to do this punishment or give them this prize. Go build your future.